Hello everybody, my name is Barry Schwartz and this is the Search Buzz video recap. Today is Friday, January 26th, and this is the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at seroundtable.com over the past week. First up, the Google Search Console beta should be live for everyone. You might have not gotten the notices, you might have gotten notices for some of your sites, but if you go to this URL and then you click on the search properties thing, you should see all your properties listed in there. Again, you might have to click on that specific URL over here, search.google.com/search-console, and then go to this little box here and click on that to see your properties, and you should be able to see them. Again, you might not see a link to it from the old Google Search Console, but you should be able to access it over there, which is nice. It doesn't have all the features of the old one. Google's still in beta on the new Search Console beta, and they're going to move more and more of those features over slowly. The old one will still remain there, I think, as long as the features aren't matched up. There's a whole slew of new cool stuff you could do in the new Google Search Console. This is pretty interesting. So we have SEOs fighting with Google and Google fighting with SEOs about how Google treats subdomains versus subdirectories. And they posted this video. This is weird because the video itself came out over a month ago when Google announced the SEO snippets, but Google posted a tweet about the video just this week, and I guess more people noticed it. And basically, it's Google saying, you know, you can use subdomains, subdirectories. They both are fine. They both will rank in Google. Do what's best for your business, that type of line. And then Rand Fishkin went ahead and said this is disappointing. The answer should be subfolders are almost always better for rankings. But the video talks about how Google knows how to crawl both fine and that you should do what's right for your users long term. And he's upset with that. And then John Mueller and Danny Sullivan from Google are basically fighting back and saying, what do you want us to say? This is the true answer. Google can index both, can rank both. Why do you think I'm misleading people? And it's basically back and forth. And you have SEO saying, you know, both do rank fine. And you have SEO saying the opposite. Subdirectories are horrible for you. Subfolders are better. Stuff like that. And you have this, like, it reminds me of the 302, 301, do they pass full weight or not type of debate, where Google themselves looked into it and said, no, they do, and they do work fine. And SEOs are saying, no, they don't, based on our data, they don't. And of course, you should always do what you think is best for your clients, not necessarily always listen to Google, because Google might know the technical reason, but obviously there's a lot of factors involved outside of just like, you know, Google could index something. So again, that was a pretty interesting topic. You should definitely take a look at that debate. It's somewhat fun if you are in the SEO industry and you like to see that kind of banter. Google, the remove URL report was under maintenance this week. It was actually only 2 days, but we weren't sure how long it would last. But basically, if you went to the remove URLs thing, and the URLs here might have not been reporting properly, and Google updated that to say it was only on January 24th and 25th that you may have seen that error or that issue. So definitely take note of that if you are removing URLs from Google. Google's John Mueller gave a very detailed advice to a site that basically went ahead and merged 4 sites into one based on his previous advice. I'm not going to go through it all, but it's interesting to see John Mueller himself this is what he wrote in a single blog post, a single forum post, replying to somebody, basically going through detailed SEO advice for this specific webmaster, what they could do to actually improve things, which is nice to see. Another controversial topic this week was that Google's John Mueller said we don't, according to him, at least he doesn't think, that Google uses GPS coordinates in schema specifically for search rankings. Question was, do you use GPS coordinates in schema? Is it essential to use it? Blah, blah, blah. And John said, as far as I know, we don't use GPS coordinates in that regard in regards to search. He said he'll look into it more. And people are saying, well, they do use it, or the documentation say they do use it. So maybe John doesn't know what he's talking about. But John has not updated us on that yet, so we'll keep it as is. Also, John Mueller said that if you are translating a specific web page or web pages into a different language, you should definitely go ahead and update those alt attributes as well. Don't just go ahead and update the language without on the visible page of the content, but also update the alternative text images, image tags or image attributes on those pages as well, because you want to give Google clear advice and guidance on what that page is, what language that page is about. John has actually offered conflicting top answers on that topic itself as well, and I wrote about that as well. Stone Temple, Eric Enge, basically went ahead and created a new actions on Google for SEO questions. So you could be like, okay, you know, whatever. I'm not going to go ahead and trigger it for you all. But basically, you can say, ask Stone Temple, followed by your SEO question. So ask Stone Temple things like, you know, what is a no index tag and stuff like that. And it will actually respond. If you guys are interested in doing it yourself, what I recommend for your niche is SEMrush, and I think other tools have these featured snippet outliers, and they let you download this what your featured snippets are and what the Google responses are, and that basically gives you a query and an answer. And then you can just basically pull those together and put them into a Google Actions for your actions on Google for your own niche. And it's a very quick way of doing it. You might want to obviously review it, make sure it reads right and it is right. But it's a very quick way of using your own search data to make your own actions on Google instead of using Google's feature snippets, which again would be the same thing. But Google has a sub carousel for people to also search for. Not sure if this is new or not, but I don't think I've seen it before. So people also search for the carousel, and then they have these other carousels below. You could actually click on one, it will expand, and it would actually give you another sub carousel. So you see here, click on one, expands. So from here, I clicked on the arrow, it expands, and shows me another sub carousel. And then you can scroll and it'll give you more results, and that often will take you somewhere else. So I think Google's testing that, or actually is launched. Google My Business has fixed the video upload issue. So now when you upload a video, it actually is live fairly quickly. So that's nice. So now Google My Business users or Google local users can actually upload videos, and those videos will be seen fairly quickly. Google launched this vacation rentals filter probably 6-7 months ago, and now we see Allison Wright from the Google My Business community manager basically say that this does not impact the Google guidelines. The Google My Business guidelines specifically says it's not allowed for rental or for sale properties such as vacation homes, model homes, or vacation apartments to list their stuff on Google My Business. And it doesn't change that, but we know that Google specifically allows or shows vacation rentals, and she's saying it's basically just a test. It's a test that Google's been running, and I see it myself, and I've seen it forever, for lots of different queries, where you could actually go ahead and let me just show you that. You can click on accommodation type and filter by vacation rentals, and that's live, and it's been live for a while, specific niches and specific regions. And Google said, you know, our guidelines hasn't changed. This is just a test, and because we're doing tests doesn't mean our guidelines have changed. So keep that in mind. Google AdSense in-ad feeds now uses machine learning to better match your style and look of your web pages. So if you're too lazy to actually make the design of the AdSense ads look the way you want them to, Google will now use machine learning if you turn it on to go ahead and match your ads better to your website. Google AdWords announced yesterday they're actually launching 2 new features, which I think is around GDPR, but I'm not sure, they didn't mention it, for users to control their ads with new ad settings and mute this ad. So if you ever go to like a site, let's say you're buying a new pen or something like that, you buy the pen, but then for the next month or so you have these ads around the web that tell you to buy the pen that you were just looking at, but you already bought it. So it's very interesting to see that as well. And Google also added more settings specifically around how to mute ads. You'll see them more and more places, as well as it will actually recognize you when you're signed into, let's say, your iPad, and then you're signed into your iPhone and your Google account on your desktop and your whatever. You mute those ads, it will mute across all your devices. Chrome User Experience Report, which is used partially in the Page Speeds Insights report, now gives you insights on specific regions. So you can actually break down to see, all right, how fast or what your UX score is in India versus the UK versus the US. So that's pretty cool. It's part of their API. Search metrics. Finally, after years and years of being in court against BrightEdge basically has sued or is alleging that Search Metrics is infringing on their patent, and they've been suing them for years. Supposedly Search Metrics spent over $10 million defending this, which they could have used to build better tools. And they finally, the judge threw out the allegations and threw out the case, and favored in Search Metrics, which is great because the SEO community is very, very happy, and they love Marcus and the company. And now I guess they can put this behind them and hopefully start investing more of that $10 million that they spent on the legal dispute on building a better product. And both of them could do that. Now, instead of Bright Edge and Searchmetrics spending money on legal issues, they could actually go ahead and build better tools for the SEO community. Finally, we like to do our weekly or daily search community honors theme, where we honor this week Mike Blumenthal, Akvil DeFazio, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing your name right, Bruce Clay, Susan Halem, and David Harry. So really do appreciate all you guys for all you've done for the SEO community over the past, some of you over decades. David and Mike have been doing this for well over a decade. A bunch of you also have been doing it over a decade. And some of you have contributed more significantly recently, and we do appreciate everything you've done, and we honor you and thank you for everything. In any event, thanks so much for listening to the Search Buzz Video Recap. My name again is Barry Schwartz, and this is search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable, SERoundtable.com over the past week. Today is Friday, January 26th. Everyone have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next. Bye.